Hey everyone, today we're reviewing a 2018 Honda Accord Sport found here at AutoSense in Salem, New Hampshire on Route 28. This car is equipped with a 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder with VTEC. The exterior has a nice swoopy design with 19-inch rims that complement it very well. It competes with the likes of the Toyota Camry and, of course, the Hyundai Sonata. As for the interior, the black leather seats with the cloth stitching provide a very nice, comfortable ride, and the infotainment system and the buttons surrounding it are of the utmost quality and simple and easy to use. I have to say, this wheel feels really nice in my hands. I don't believe it's heated or anything like that, but just the style of it, it's kind of almost D-shaped. If someone were in the market for one of these, who's doing a lot of highway driving, this is definitely built for that. It cruises very nice. I could stay at this speed for long periods of time and it's comfortable. There's an adequate amount of legroom, so for those longer drives you'll probably even be able to stretch out just in this seat. This car doesn't come with a sunroof, but I think that would be a nice feature, is to add a sunroof to this car. As far as this front infotainment center goes, I enjoy having all these knobs for my temperature controls and obviously my defrosters and whatnot. This little center here below with the USB port, I don't like how if I close it, I can't access that port. So essentially this is always just left open and it just kind of gives it an awkward look. Whereas if they didn't make this so it was something that's open and they just designed it so it looks nice without having a open close feature, it would be much nicer. It's also kind of a cheap material, so I feel like if you do this enough, you'll probably end up breaking it. It's just kind of like a small click latch. And if I want to access my Android or Apple CarPlay, I can't have this closed. So you can have this car in sport without having to manually shift it. Once you click the paddle shifter, that's what engages its manual mode. And to get out of it, you would just hit sport again. You can kind of feel the car just upshift a bunch of times and get you into a low RPM. And then when you click sport, downshifts, gives you a little more throttle response. And I even hear more of a feedback from my exhaust. My preference would be to just leave this car in sport mode, but without the manual shifting. I just feel it will give a nice commuter economy car feel while also giving you some sporty feel to the car as well. Also, you can see in this gauge cluster that it turns red when you put it into sport mode, and say when I take it out, that goes away and it turns green. Kind of interesting. Then eco, it just kind of shows a plant. I wish that green would be for eco mode, and then maybe they could do a blue for just the regular mode of the car. I do have to say, driving this car in its standard mode is very comfortable and just kind of gives you a relaxed feel as the car, you know, tries to keep you in a higher gear, low RPMs. You don't get much feedback from the exhaust. And overall, it's comfortable. Going over bumps is generally easy in this car, as you don't feel a lot of the impact that the suspension just eats up. There's still a bit of tire noise in this car, but overall it's pretty quiet. It picks up pretty quick and handles nice around corners, even when you're kind of getting on it a bit. For a sedan this large, it's actually very tight. You don't feel a lot of body roll, whereas I mentioned in my Sonata and in that 7 Series, which are similar sizes, that you get a lot of body roll. In this car, it just stays tight, eats up bumps, and holds on really well around corners. As for the lane keep assist feature in this car, it doesn't beep at you. It gives you a slight vibration in your steering wheel and just kind of nudges you back into the lane. It doesn't rip the steering wheel out of your hands like some other cars. It just kind of gives you a slight little nudge. And I think that's where this setting is a sweet spot. Whereas I said before in the Nissan Sentra video, my personal preference would be to just have the feature either off or have it so it just beeps at me and warns me, but doesn't control my steering wheel, just because I feel if I'm trying to compensate for getting myself back in the lane and then the car compensates, we're giving an overcompensation and we're almost going into the other lane, you know? So I think that this car, although the feature is there where it pushes you back into your lane, it's not over evasive. Buying a used model like this, which is a 2018 Honda Accord Sport, would be a very good option, just because they are much cheaper from when the car was new. And it even still gives you a new car feel 50,000 miles later. I think that's why these cars are so reputable, because they're reliable, they're good commuter cars, and they're generally inexpensive. I still love just even a little bit of the pedal. You can hear the turbo start to whistle. You just get a little feedback from the turbo, and you might not be able to hear it on the GoPro just because of how subtle it is, but it just adds a little character to the car. I also have to add about this car is the stalks on it for the wiper and the turn signal. They're not just the standard plastic that you see in a lot of cars. They have a little bit of higher end feel to them. They're a softer plastic and they're more solid than you might think. I think those and the combination of the paddle shifters and the stitching on the steering wheel give this car a higher end feel for a lower cost. As far as luxury goes, this car may not be able to keep up with that of BMW's 5 Series and Mercedes E-Class, but it definitely gives it a run for its money as far as the value that you get from buying one of these rather than one of those. You'll have a lot lower maintenance costs, and you'll get a lot of the luxury that you feel in those cars just right here in this Honda Accord. I believe the transmission in this car complements the 4-cylinder turbo that is also in this car. I think they complement each other very well, where you don't have a lot of awkwardness in the powertrain. So when I press the pedal, it knows what I want from it, and it doesn't give me any sort of awkward, I don't know where I'm supposed to be shifting, I don't know what gear I'm supposed to be in. This car just drives with a purpose. You get a little bit of turbo lag, and the power takes a little bit to put on, but once it's on, you get a little bit of a thrust back in your seat, but nothing crazy. In a Honda Accord like this, if you're in the market for an economy commuter car like this, you're not really intending to have a sporty, more spirited drive, but this car can offer some of that. I'm not gonna say that it's super fast or very, very fun to drive, but it's comfortable. It gives you the acceleration you need to get on and off the highway. And they're a really good deal. This is definitely one of the more comfortable cars I've driven. The seats cushion me very nice. They hold me in so I'm not moving all over the place if I'm cornering, etc. But they don't squeeze me. I just think that they're a very nice seat to be in. Although I said before this car isn't super sporty, sport mode definitely is a fun place to be in with this vehicle. I just like the throttle response and the exhaust feedback. It's not very loud. I'll have to say it's generally quiet, but you definitely get a pitch from behind you, and it just adds a little character to this car. The turbo lag in this car is a bit of a problem. It's not as much of an instant response to throttle like that BMW 7 Series was in my last video. So you find yourself just kind of wanting more power out of this car, just because when I step on the pedal, it takes just a quick brief second pause, and then the acceleration picks up, and then you actually get a bit of power out of this vehicle. So if you're looking for more spirited drives, I would suggest the Honda Civic Si, or even the Type R if you can afford it. Both of those vehicles would give you the spirited drive. You really don't feel any imperfections in the road in this vehicle. I think it competes extremely well with mid-size to large sedans as far as comfort, and even luxury goes with this interior. I'm actually super impressed. The A-pillars are on the smaller end, so you get a good visibility even in the front, which sometimes with these larger sedans you get these large chunky A-pillars, which are these pillars right here, and they just eat up a lot of your front visibility. This car doesn't have that. I have no issues with this car's visibility whatsoever. This has to be one of my most comfortable drives I've had yet in a car that is not my own, and I just really enjoy how it rides. just at low speeds. Even on the highway, it can be a bit noisy, but overall, as far as comfort goes, I could take a nap in here. This car pulls pretty quick once it gets off that initial turbo lag. Another quick compliment of this car, all the buttons in here feel very high quality. Your window buttons, your paddle shifters, your shifting gear, everything just feels of very high quality. There's a bit of plastic up here, down here, here, but honestly, this car is a very nice place to be. But to sum this car up, if you're looking for something that's very fuel efficient, comfortable to ride in, and just gives you a bit of luxury without having to really pay for it, this is a nice option. I would definitely recommend this car to anyone who drives very far in their commute. It's a nice daily driver that's going to get you very good fuel economy, be reliable to you, and give you a bit of styling and luxury that you wouldn't normally have with a car in this price range. Thank you guys for watching this video. I really do appreciate all your support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Guys, even if you give me some feedback that may not be incredibly positive, I do appreciate comments. So again, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and thank you for watching this video.